How's it going, guys? So today is going to be sort of a different video. It's not going to have anything to do with knives. It's not going to have anything to do with baking. It is more of a personal type video, more personal for my wife, anyways. And we decided we need to do a video about it due to the limited information and help that you get through this type of issue. So, with that being said, I'm going to hand this portion over to my wife so she can start talking about this, well, insanity.
Hey guys. So, uh, like he said, is it's going to be a little completely off topic for our normal type of videos, but given my experience of what been going through recently and the access to real, truthful information that's not bullcrap or sounding like it's from a script that they're being told to read, or actual gut honest information that's from the person directly. So on August 8th, I had to go and see a dermatologist. And it was due to a few spots that were popping up on me. And a biopsy was done on August 8th. And then August 14th, as I was watching some movies and trying to brush up on my Marvel stuff, because it had been a minute since I had watched it, I get a phone call. August 14th, I get a phone call with the diagnosis of melanoma. And the wind got knocked out of me. And when I say wind got knocked out of me, basically that feeling where it's everything around you just goes wah, wah, wah. And you kind of feel like your brain is just literally just expanding, and you can hear your blood rushing. You can't breathe. You're not understanding words that are being said to you. And they're trying to communicate this information to me in a manner that's very clinical, but very not informative. And so I kind of brushed it off as, oh, okay, thanks for calling. And then I hung up. First thing I did is I called my primary doctor to answer questions about what that meant for me. And then I couldn't remember why I called them. So then I had to call the dermatologist back just to confirm what they actually said to me, because it still wasn't making any sense. And it still didn't make any sense. I asked my primary physician for the pathology report so I could actually read the words, because words at that point of people saying something to me wasn't making any sense. It just sounded like a completely foreign language. It sounded like somebody was playing the worst prank on me. And my primary doctor did not have my pathology report because the dermatologist refused to send it over to them. Even though I signed the release of information, even though I gave my consent and permission for everything, any findings, the pathology report, anything to be sent to my primary care physician, so that way everybody could be on the same page with my health. The dermatologist gatekeeped that information. And when I say gatekeeped, I mean gatekeeped. I called asking for the information and they refused me. I actually had to drive down to the dermatologist's office and tell them I was not going to leave their office until they gave me the pathology report, so I could then take that to my primary doctor's office so that they could put it in their records. Now, my experience of going through this has not been very good. When I got the diagnosis, all I could think about was the initial visit where the spots that I was pointing out that needed to just kind of be looked at, the dermatologist didn't seem to pay any attention. He did not use a dermoscope. He didn't seem to care. He quite literally used the words that I was being vain and that it's all in my head. And to have a dermatologist basically gaslight the living daylights out of you only for your results to come back melanoma. Now, then came the next part of, okay, we're going to be doing a wide local excision on your left deltoid. When I asked how big it was going to be, they wouldn't answer my questions. When I was trying to figure out what questions should I ask, no one was answering them. I had the procedure on August 22nd, and I still have stitches in my body right now. The stitches are supposed to come out on September 5th. And my experience so far has been not good. Abysmal, yeah. When I first got the diagnosis, I was in such confusion and a haze and a fog. I didn't even know where I was at that moment. And I walked in to go and tell my husband, who, he works graveyard. And so I was kind of waiting for him to wake up so I could tell him what was going on. And it's not an easy conversation to try to have when you don't know what you're supposed to be saying. Trying to figure out how to tell my kids, how to tell my family, how to tell my husband what's going on when I myself don't even know what's going on. I hear the words melanoma, I hear it's bad, but I don't know what that means. I know I have all these symptoms that are progressively getting worse.
What are the symptoms?
So the symptoms have been nausea, vomiting, coughing, struggling to breathe at times, migraines every single day, literally waking me from a dead sleep, staying all day, every day. And that's not my normal. I'm tired all the time. I'm weak. There's times I can't even use a cane because that takes too much to try to hold myself up. So I stay still.
You feel like dead weight.
You feel like dead weight. I get very confused. My words get mixed up. And thankfully, the people that know me, they know what I'm trying to say, thankfully. But it hasn't been easy at all. When I had the procedure, I'm very grateful that I had, my son went with me, my mom went with me. We tried to communicate to the dermatologist that, I have allergies to the adhesive that's in most bandages. Tagaderm, I don't have as bad of a reaction to, but the regular surgical bandages like Band-Aids or this other stuff, you'll see it because we're going to show pictures that's like white or any kind of surgical tape, paper tape, anything like that. I tend to get really bad welts, chemical burns, so severe. And it's really bad. And we communicated that, I'm allergic to that. Can they please use Tagaderm? Didn't listen at all. Kind of brush it off like whatever. It's been a nightmare. The area around the incision has been extremely hot to the touch. I'm not running a fever. If anything, my actual temperature on my forehead is going lower and lower and lower, but the area around the incision is getting hotter and hotter and hotter. I just don't feel good. I feel like every part of me is struggling at this point. And not being able to trust the dermatologist, they gave me their number to call them. Yeah. If I'm having any symptoms, Granted, they told me that you won't get an infection until after 2 weeks. And the problem is that's not true. You can actually develop an infection the same day. You can develop an infection the next day. You can develop an infection at any point in time. That's been my history. That's been my experience on previous health situations where I've had to undergo procedures. And so for them to say, you will not ever get an infection until after 2 weeks is just a bunch of crap. When trying to ask them questions, they brush it off like it's not a big deal. If I had not have pushed and pushed and pushed for them to do a biopsy, this would have never been found because the dermatologist told me, you're fine, come back in 2 years. The dermatologist did not even want to look at me. He was too busy staring at the receptionist or the girl that came in the room that he's shouting off numbers. He was too busy staring at her body parts. This situation has been so isolating and terrifying. And when you feel every part of your body is failing you and you don't feel confident or comfortable in contacting your physician that performed the procedure, the dermatologist that performed the procedure, you don't feel confident in telling them the symptoms that you're experiencing after the procedure. You don't feel confident in telling your primary care what's going on because they seem to drop the ball there too. Because of my particular melanoma, I have to have a PET scan. However, the people at my primary decided to drop the ball on that too and not send over the required documentation to the health insurance company.
What is a CAT scan?
A PET scan is specifically to determine cancer, if it's spread, how far it's spread, where it's at, and help them identify the stage and also be able to help them come up with a treatment plan. I was referred to a cancer center, and the cancer center, the soonest time they can get me in is November 24th, which when you hear the word melanoma and you see how serious it is, and then you start to see people not look you in the eye anymore. They start looking down at the ground, and they start hitting you with words you don't understand. That medical jargon. I understand doctors are trained to distance themselves in these types of situations. However, they need to understand when you tell stuff like that to a patient whose life just literally came to a screeching halt, and then you tell them that this is going to affect their immediate family, such as their parents, their siblings, and their children, and you don't even have time enough to answer questions, concerns, or actually do your job. If the doctors don't care, it makes the patient feel like, why the French should I care? I'm using every bit of energy I have to fight this, but I should not have to fight everyone else too in order to make sure that they're staying on top of my health like they're supposed to. I know that this has affected my loved ones around me. I know that they're all trying their best, and I'm trying my best to make this as easy on them while they're trying to make it easy on me. But then there's this topic of conversation that's not happening of what this really feels like. And when you try to look it up online and they say, oh, here's the patient story, it's not even the actual patient story. It sounds like a script that the doctor wants them to say. It doesn't even sound truthful. I mean, there could be some smarty smarts out there that use the big terminology like that, but I'm sorry, but someone like me, when you hear words like that, you're not talking in big terms. You're talking, okay, what does this mean? Are these symptoms normal? Is it going to get worse? How long is this going to last? What do I do next? What can I do next? When I have no basis for understanding what comes next, what to do, that makes things so much harder. When you've got doctors that are so busy staring at Chat GPT and they're trying to gaslight their patient into thinking that their concerns are not valid, and then when the patient is proven right, there's a problem and it's melanoma, they still refuse to care. It's still just nothing. Like I said, if I had listened to the dermatologist who did not even look at my skin, did not use a dermoscope, did not do anything, wouldn't even look at me, didn't even want to talk to me, he quite literally said, "Oh, you're married? I can't talk to you. I can only talk to your husband." But guess what? That's what my insurance covers. So I need my husband to tell my health concerns to the dermatologist, for the dermatologist to look at my husband, for my husband to diagnose me? No, that's not supposed to happen. But if I had listened to the dermatologist, who never not once even wanted to look at me, if I had not advocated for myself to say, "Hey, can you please do a biopsy?" If I had not have trusted my gut instinct, this would have been really bad. To have the diagnosis come back as melanoma, to not know what that means for me moving forward, to not know if every symptom that I'm feeling now, is this normal? Is this going to happen every single day from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed? And then it also interferes with my sleep because it's making me sick. It's hard to breathe. I have headaches that are so bad, debilitating. Ibuprofen doesn't even dent it. I mean, it might take it down a notch, but the migraine is still there on a continuous basis. And then to sit in silence because you don't want to say anything to any of your loved ones, because you don't want them to see how much this is affecting you, because it's going to affect them and you have to see them traumatized by it. It's not okay. It makes it where you're so closed off and so shut off, and you're just sitting in silence dealing with this. And then you add to that doctors that don't want to do their job and they want to rely on Chat GPT. Are you kidding me? I mean, I remember a time a long time ago where you could go into the doctor's office and they cared. They spent time with the patients. They talked to the patients. They listened to the symptoms, and they actually made sure you were okay. They made sure your family was okay. If it was a situation that maybe counseling would help, they offered it. And in this case, it's the quicker they get you out, the quicker the next one comes in. Keep that money train going. But if you have questions about, are these symptoms normal? How long are they going to continue? Can you please re-examine actually check my body about these spots that I initially came in about that you're disregarding? You're kind of left with the situation of, what do I do now? Because the dermatologist doesn't even want to take a look at the other spots that I initially came in for at all. I did research of the best dermatology in my area. I asked if I could be referred to them. My doctor, nope. They're going to send me to a dermatologist that's actually rated as the worst in my town, that allows people to cut into you who are not even in medical school in any capacity. At least that's what their reviews say on Google. So they're the worst rated in town. I'm terrified to tell any of them how I'm feeling. So instead, I'm just closing off. I'm shutting down. I'm not doing the things that I normally love. That's the reason you haven't seen me do a baking video in a minute, is because I'm shutting down emotionally, physically. I'm shutting down. And when I look to see, is there anyone I can talk to that's been through this? Some kind of, I don't know, network, or, somebody that can actually understand how I'm feeling, that gets it and is not reading a script. Unfortunately, there are no videos out there. Everything seems very scripted, very heavy on the medical jargon. And I'm sorry, like, it would be easier if they dumbed it down a little bit for me. But truthfully, I don't think that they're actually speaking from a place of what they really want to say. And a lot of times people are afraid to speak up because they don't want to get treated worse than they're already treated. I'm terrified. I have those nightmares of being skinned alive. And yes, it is a completely silly thing to even think about. And it's a completely unrealistic, it's a nightmare that I shouldn't even be worried about. But given what I've already gone through, I'm terrified that if I make somebody mad in the dermatologist's office, or if I make somebody mad in my primary care's office, or in the cancer center, or any of there, someone's going to torture me worse than I've already been tortured. And what's worse is when I asked for the pictures, because they took multiple pictures of when they pulled the bandage off from the biopsy, I still hadn't healed yet. They took one picture then they took another, the picture of the unhealed biopsy site, and they drew, where they were going to cut. There was that one picture. Then they did a second picture once they cut. Then a third picture of the sutures, the stitches. When I requested said pictures, I was actually told they only took one. Literally another form of gaslighting. But here's the kicker. The doctor just not only sent it to me, but he also emailed it to his receptionist. A receptionist that only answers phones. She does not do patient records. She does not upload information onto a patient's file. She's not a nurse. She's not a medical assistant. She is not affiliated medically in any capacity. Her job solely is to check the patients in when they come in and answer the phones and schedule appointments. That's all she does. So tell me why she now has pictures of my body.
Which is a violation of HIPAA.
Which is a violation of HIPAA. My husband's correct. But this is my experience. And I do now know that the sun is more deadly now than it has been in a very long time. Most people are not even aware of this. Me personally, I've never been confident in the way I look. So I was never one to show my shit, so to speak, pardon my language. I was never a person that ever really showed my stuff. I always covered up. My mom, when I was younger, made sure I was slathered up on the sunscreen, so much so that it pretty much stained my nostrils on that smell. You know that smell I'm talking about, where that banana boat, you know what I'm talking about?
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry. I have a dark sense of humor, but
that wasn't dark. That was just hilarious.
No, the dark sense of humor is the fact that I said I wish this had happened in October, because then it could have been my Halloween costume with the stitches. So, there's that. I'm trying to retain my sense of humor as best I can on this. But like I said, I covered up and covered up and covered up my whole life. The area that this is in, my left deltoid, it's high up. This was not exposed to the sun in any capacity. the fact that it was able to burn through, and I was one of those people that you would see in the middle of the summer wearing like 8 layers of clothes, and you're looking at me and you're overheating because the fact that I'm so layered up. I mean, it's making a person sweat. Yeah, they used to come up to me and say, dude, like, take off some of those layers. Like, you're killing me, Smalls. Well, this hit me. And the freckle had been there since birth. It was unassuming. We're going to insert pictures, but it was unassuming. It was not sus in any way. It was not odd shaped. So, you know how they always sit there and say,
Did you just say sus?
I sure did say sus. I'm hip with it.
You're hanging out with your son way too much.
I love my son. He's awesome.
Yeah,
he teaches me the language.
Jesus.
But you know how they say that there's the ABCs of melanoma? Okay. Now, skin cancer does run in my family. But here's the thing. They tell you that when it comes to your freckles, there's the ABCs of melanoma regarding the asymmetry, the borders, the color, like there's specifics. Okay. This freckle is not anywhere on this radar. It's a perfect shape. It's not off color. It's not crazy in size. There's nothing unassuming about this. There's nothing when looking at it that it would have said, yeah, that's melanoma. So that was the last thing on my mind.
Tell me about the pain you had in your shoulder before this was even a thing.
That's true. So prior to this, I was feeling like I had this pain underneath my shoulder blade in that area. Like we were getting them icy hot patches and we were sticking them bad boys on my shoulder and it wasn't helping. All it was doing was causing a chemical burn because of the adhesive. But it felt like somebody had ripped apart my muscle. It was so much pain. I could not turn my head. I was having problems with it and it was fluctuating. Like, I'd have a few good days, a few bad days, more bad days than good. I was having trouble turning my head. I was having trouble with moving my arm because every time I did, it hurt. And then it's interesting that this happened in that spot, in that exact same spot. Now, from what I've read up on, because I'm trying to study every bit of information that I can about this, is that they're supposed to do a thorough, comprehensive body exam, especially when a person is diagnosed with melanoma. Now I'm going to start fidget because, I'm frustrated because they don't want to. They don't want to look. This dermatologist has me so incredibly uncomfortable. Like, if he did his job, I'd be fine. He's nice in person, called my mom, that type of person. The ones that make you think they're going to be nice. But no. I mean, any questions I had were completely dismissed or ignored flat out. The symptoms that I'm experiencing, I get that look of, oh, I'm so sorry. You got to have the PET scan because we're pretty sure it's spread. Your blood levels are indicating it's spread. Other tests are indicating it's spread. But insurance company won't approve the PET scan because the doctor's office, the referral specialist, prior authorization people did not submit the correct paperwork. So now I'm left with sitting in silence. I don't want to upset my family by talking about it because I grew up in the generation of if something's bothering you, if something's going on, you keep it to yourself. You don't talk about it. You certainly don't air it publicly. But in this particular situation, wholeheartedly, I can say I'm scared. Um, I am not an emotional person at all. You know, I can get angry, yeah. I can laugh hysterically. I've been called annoyingly chipper at times. I'm usually that happy, bubbly person that does have a temper problem if you cross my family. If you come from my family, I get angry. But I'm not a crier. It has to be something real serious. And now all of a sudden I'm crying over the dumbest things. Over everything, to be bluntly honest. Breaking down, crying like I was a toddler. But like I said, when you look for videos trying to find anyone that's been through this or is going through this and can give you an honest, you know, you're going to be feeling like this for so long. This is normal. This is abnormal. Anyone that can help me make sense of this, you can't find anyone that is truthful. It's all what sounds like scripted jargon that the doctors told them to say in the doctor's office. The terminology is so big. And I'm sorry, when you're facing melanoma, can you dumb it down a little bit? Because the world is literally spinning out of control right now. And it feels like I'm repetitively getting punched in the gut and the wind knocked out of me, that nothing is making sense. And like I said, this is just my honest opinion on it. I'm going to include some pictures of what the freckle looked like, what the biopsy site looked like that still was not healed when they outlined it and cut me, and then pictures of once it was sutured. And then, of course, there's the bump that's forming now. That looks like fluid is filling up in that area, you know, like internal bleeding. You know, I need somebody to tell me if this is normal. If you've experienced this, if you're feeling alone, reach out, dude. Like, I'll talk to you. No problem. No questions asked. I will talk to you. I'm going through it. It would be nice to not feel alone. My husband's there for me. My family's there for me. My kids are there for me. Yeah, but it's hard when they're not going through it, so they don't know. They're going through it on a different level. Okay. The other thing they don't talk about is when you're diagnosed with melanoma or any form of cancer. And by the way, this isn't my only form of cancer. I've also battled breast cancer. I had to have 2 surgeries for breast cancer. So this is like another level of a whammy. Right when I'm recovering from that, I get hit. And what they do not tell you is it's not just affecting you, it's affecting your family. They're seeing this, they're watching you suffer, and they feel helpless. I know that they wish they could take this off of me or take it away from me and help me, but it's hard when they don't even know what to say. And I know they don't know what to say, so they keep telling me.
Definitely rather them cut it out of me than you.
True. And that's the thing, is like, I know they would take this burden in a heartbeat. I know this. And I know they have questions, but I'm not even getting my questions answered. Like, I don't know, it's crazy because it's the world we live in now. But
you want me to give my perspective?
Yeah. So my husband's going to give his perspective because, like I said, cancer doesn't just affect the person, it affects their loved ones. So I'm going to let him give the husband perspective because I know for a fact there ain't one out there. There is no video out there of the family's perspective while the patient is going through it. The patient feels like crap. I'll just tell you that right there. The patient is probably hiding, like me. I'm hiding everything from everyone about how I feel.
She tries.
Well, yeah, my husband can definitely see it written all over my face.
Yeah, that's what 20 years will do.
But it's like, with the rest of my family, I just put on a smile, I nod, and I act like everything is hunky-dunky. when it's not.
Hunky donkey?
Hunky donkey.
Hunky dory.
Same thing. Hunky donkey, hunky dory, whatever. I hear dory, I start think of just keep swimming. And I'm sorry, but Jesus.
That makes me want to watch that movie. Stop it.
So yeah, you give your perspective.
All right. Well, you sit here because this chair hurts my butt.
Okay.
So I need the squishy squish.
Get on the squishy squish.
All right. So she talked about the emotional perspective and the insanity that is melanoma. Well, I don't know if she mentioned what melanoma can also do. It can lead to blood cancer. It can lead to brain cancer, lymph node cancer, bone cancer. It can do a lot of different things. So
And spread fast.
It spreads very fast. It's very deadly if it goes that way. And without that PET scan, we don't know. All we know is with
The symptoms and the blood tests and other tests
are
showing it's not good.
It's probably not good because everything comes with threes with her. We've gone through a lot of different medical issues, dealt with a lot of the stuff, dealt with a lot of dumb doctors. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything because their stupidity has me fuming. I tried to talk because my wife was having issues talking at the emergency room the other day, and the stupid little lady that was sitting at her dumb little desk.
She did her finger like this and said, "Shh."
Yeah, she was like, "Shish," and I wanted to throw her out the frickin' window. But regardless of that, the annoyance of the not knowing. I understand it's bad. I don't know any of the terminology. It's
a nightmare.
It's like when you're at work, you're having a good day, you're sitting there, you're just doing your thing like you normally do. I'm a security guard, so I have a high stress job anyways. And then you always have this thing nagging at the back of your mind about this type of stuff. It makes it very hard to be civil towards stupidity.
Yep.
So it's definitely affects me at my workplace. I have no patience for anybody, especially for the night walkers. I can't say the other words because YouTube will ban us.
True that.
But you need to, the doctors work for you.
Although they're not really exactly working for me right now. They're kind of making things difficult.
Their whole addendum is to bring in more patients to keep their spots, keep their funding for this or that. Every single one of them has their dream thing that they've been working on their whole life that they're trying to get funding for. They all have something that they want in the end game, and that's mostly what they work towards. You know, they want to get to that goal, and they look at people as a stepping stone for that. You need to be strong, stern, say what's on your mind, and don't let them sugarcoat anything. It sucks getting the actual news from them, but you can get it out of them. You just have to be stern. You just got to keep asking, don't bullshit me. Tell me exactly what's going on because I need to know, because I have life outside of this. Most of these people don't understand that a lot of us are lower income. We have jobs we have to do. We have to know what's going to affect us and what's not. We also have jobs that aren't just going to be like, oh yeah, you can take the day off, no problem.
Yeah, no.
That's not how life works. It's life is set in to put a foot to our generation's throat, I guess you could say.
It's kind of like, what bill do we pay, or should we pay for the co-payment for this treatment?
Yeah.
Should we eat this week, or do I really need that treatment?
Exactly. And we have been through that many times. We have eaten a lot of ramen.
Oh yeah,
noodles,
ramen's awesome.
A lot of just random bags of chips.
Yep. Pringles, tuna kits.
But this video is just kind of to shed some light on the stupidity that is the
Healthcare.
Healthcare.
But also to show pictures of what this looks like, because like I said, I mean, yeah, they've got pictures out there of like worst case, oh, it looks completely irregular and it's like 50 different colors and it's a huge this and that. No. Mine looked completely unassuming.
Hers just looked like a normal freckle.
It was a cute little freckle, honestly. Like completely unassuming.
And that's just one. I know she
one.
has more spots that need to be cut out.
Oh, yeah.
100% know this, but
they need
we'll
to do
never know.
Thorough, comprehensive mole patrol. Like they need to
biopsy everything.
Yeah.
If you feel a spot or a random ache,
if it looks weird to
you need to get it checked out.
You know your body. You've lived with your body for however long you've been alive. Don't let a doctor tell you you don't know your own body. That's what I'm going through right now. I'm being gaslit into I don't know my own body. Exactly. And then I'm being proven that I'm right and they're wrong. And then they refuse to admit that they're wrong and correct it.
Yeah, the amount of ego on these pricks is insane.
Oh, yeah, ridiculously insane.
Another reason why I work overnight as a security guard. So it's very hard for me to get to these appointments because they always seem to do them middle of the day, and I'm dead asleep because I'm in my 40s now. I need my sleep, especially dealing with the streetwalkers and the...
It's been a lot. It's been a roller coaster.
It's just a maddening situation, and more awareness needs to be put on it.
And also there shouldn't be this stigma of keep it to yourself, because I know if I'm feeling this alone and no one to talk to, there's got to be others.
And that means there's hundreds of thousands of you out there.
Y'all can talk to me. You can talk to my husband. If your significant others or your loved ones need someone to, maybe bounce some thoughts off of, get a hold of us.
Because trust me, we've been together for 20 years and we've been through a lot of cancers together. Yeah. I mean, I haven't had anything. First of all, I don't go to doctors, so I guess that doesn't help probably. But
if you need somebody that you're like, okay, are you feeling this? I'm feeling this. To maybe make some sense of this, that would be nice.
But we're gonna keep updating this. We'll probably make a series of this from start to finish, or news of that nature.
Take this as your learning.
Yeah, your introduction. But this video is already at 43 minutes or 45 minutes. So we're going to end this here. Please put on notifications, because sometimes it takes a while to get this type of information. And once the doctors take their heads out of their asses, sometimes the ball can get rolling quick. We've seen it go both ways.
Yeah.
So if you put on notifications and subscribe,
we'll keep you updated as it's happening in real time.
Exactly. So we're going to leave it at that, and we'll talk to you all later.
Peace.